Hi, welcome to my video on review number 4, System of Linear Equations, videos 32 to 34. This is the final video on this system of linear equations, and my reviews are treated as a quiz if you wish to do it that way, and the mark or the score for this one is 27, and there's one of 5 pages right now. There's 4 more pages to come. And on each page, there's a total at the bottom after you give yourself some marks, and then you total up each page and put that number over 27 and change it to a percent. Let's start. Solve the system of linear equations. Notice 3 variables, x, y, z in each equation. And to solve this, I numbered equations 1, 2, and 3. I like to eliminate the z's because then if I do, I'm left with x's and y's, which is solving a system of linear equations with 2 variables. So eliminate the z. So let's take equations 1 and 3. Let's do 1 and 3. The reason 1 and 3, because that's a negative. So if I multiply this equation by 4, then these 2 will cancel. So let's write down equation 1. Which is 2x minus 3y plus 4z equals 6. Equation 3 is 3x plus 2y minus z equals 0. So if I take this equation and multiply it by 4 and multiply this one by 1, it will get 1 times this, won't change it, so 2x minus 3y plus 4z equals 6. Multiply this equation by 4, I get a 12x plus 8y minus 4z equals 0. 4 times 0 is 0. Draw a line, the z's will cancel, and I get a 14x plus 5y equals 6. This is equation 4. Now I will take equation 2 and 3. Again, that's a 3. I need a negative 3 here, so I'll do equations 2 and 3. So equation 2 is 5x plus y, 3z equals 14. Equation 3 is 3x, 2y minus z equals 0. And I'll multiply this equation by 3, this one by 1. 1 times, so I get 5x plus y plus 3z is 14. Multiplying by 3, I get 9x plus 6y minus 3z equals, this is 0, so I get 0 when I multiply by 3. Add the z's cancel, and I get a 14x plus 1 plus 6 is 7, y equals 14. This is equation 5. So now I got 2 equations with x and y, so I'm going to write them down. 14x plus 5y equals 6, so that's number 4. Number 5 is 14x plus 7y equals 14. And I want the easiest one to eliminate is the x's, so let's multiply this one by negative 1 and this one by 1. That gives us negative 14x. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5y. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6. When I multiply by 1, the equation stays the same. And I add, the x's cancel, and I get 2y equals 8. Divide by 2, and I get y equals 4. Now that I have y is 4, sub it back into one of these 2 equations, whatever one you want. I'm going to pick, when I put y in here, I put 4 for y here, then I'll get the x. So I'm going to sub 4 for y into, I'm going to put it into number 4. So I got 14x plus 5y equals 6. I'm putting 4 in the place of y. So 5y is 5 times y, 5 times 4. That will give me a 20. So 14x is 6 minus 20. 14x is negative 14. Divide by 14, and I get x to be negative 1. Now I got a y and an x, so we need to put it back into one, either of 1, 2, or 3. So I'm going to sub negative 1 for x, and I'm going to sub 4 for y into, and which equation is the best one to go into? It makes no difference. You can put it into 1, 2, or 3. This one makes no difference. I'm going to go into number 3. So I get 3x plus 2y minus z equals 0. I'm subbing it into 3. So x is negative 1. Y is 4. And I'm solving for z. Negative 3 plus 8 minus z equals 0. 5 minus z equals 0. Negative z equals negative 5. Divide by negative 1. And we get, go up here, z is 5. So the solution is we have an x, a y, and a z. So we got x is negative 1, y is 4, z is 5. And we can write them out individually or leave it as an ordered pair. 6 marks. If you have the system down, you know what you're doing, then give yourself 3 marks, but if you, and a mark for each correct answer. 6 in total. Okay, let's do the next page. Number 2. Again, pause the video and see if you can work it out and press play when you get it done to see if you got the right answer. P is 60, and so P equals 2L plus 2W. L equals W plus 6, and P is 60. It says solve for L and W. We already have P, which is 60, but we want the L and the W. So to do that, let's number the equations 1, 2, and this is number 3. So I'm going to sub. I need to get, the only thing I have is 60 for P, so I'm going to sub 60. I'm going to sub 60 for P into number 1. So that gives me P equals 2L plus 2W. P is 60, so I'm subbing it in. 60 equals 2L plus 2W. So now I have a new equation called 4. So notice that number 2 is already L equals W plus 6. So if I took W plus 6 and subbed it in here in the place of L, so I'm going to sub in, let's see if I'm going to sub W plus 6 for L into number 4. And if I do, I'm going to sub it in right here. So 60 to W plus 6. W plus 6 subbed it in for L. So W plus 6 subbed it in for L. So 60 equals 2W plus 12 plus 2W. So 60 equals 4W plus 6, 4W plus 12. Now I could leave the W there, or I can move the W over and make it a minus, but again, I'm going to leave the W there and move the 12, as long as the variable is on one side and the numbers on the other. So I get 48, and I divide by 4, and I get W is 12. So if I got W is 12, if I sub, I'm going to go up right here. I'm going to sub 12 for W into, let's put it into number 2. Number 2 is L equals W plus 6. 12 plus 6 gives me L. So it looks like, if you think about it, this is length and width in relation to a rectangle. The perimeter of a rectangle is twice the length plus twice the width, so that's all what's really going on here. So if you got 3 marks, you get 1 for the substitution, working it out, and you get 1 for each answer, 3 marks altogether. Number 3, solve for h. So r is b equals pi r squared h. That looks like the formula for the volume of a circle, pi r squared h, or the volume of a circle, no, volume of a cylinder. But we're going to get the area of a circle. So we got a circle, the area of a circle times the height, so that's the volume of a cylinder. The radius is 4 and the volume is 160 pi. Notice the volume is not as a decimal, but I have pi in it. I didn't change pi to 3.14. So pi didn't change it. So what we're going to do is to do it quickly, I'm going to sub r in for 4, and I'm going to sub 160 pi. So I'm putting pi, the volume is 160 pi, I'm putting volume V, 160 pi, and r is 4. So I sub the 2 of those in, and now the only unknown left is the h, because the pi is on each side, they'll cancel out. So I get 160 pi equals pi, 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. So that gives me 160 pi is 16 pi h. And I'm solving for h, so I'll divide by 16 pi on each side. So h, they cancel, pi's cancel, 16, 160 divided by 16 is 12, so the height is 10. And we get 3 marks. So again, notice we did a straight substitution and then solved it out. Notice I have pi on each side, so the pi's cancel out. So if we did the substitution, you get a mark. If we did the simplifying to this equation right here, you get a mark. If you get the answer 10, you get a mark. 3 marks in total. Number 4, solve for C. You have 3 variables of A, B, and C. You have another equation with A, B, and C, but we only have 2 equations. If we got 3 variables, we should have 3 equations. But let's see what happens here. We're solving for C, so that means if we're solving for C, we have to get rid of A and B. So if A is B plus C, I'm going to put B plus C in the place of A. So A is B plus C. So there's A. B plus C minus B plus C equals 30. If I did that, notice the B or plus and minus, they cancel out. So 2C is 30, divide by 2, and we get C is 15. And we have 3 marks. If you did the substitution, you got a mark. If you simplified, you got a mark. If you got 15, you got a mark. 3 marks altogether, total page, you get 9. Keep going. And we have another problem. 3 variables. The sum of 3 numbers is 70. The largest number minus the middle number plus the smallest is 30. The largest is 4 times the smallest. Find the numbers. So let's let x be the largest number, and we'll do it in order. Let y be the middle number, and we'll let z be largest, middle, smallest number. Keep them in order. So it says we got 3 numbers, the sum of the 3 numbers. So x plus y plus z is 70. And then it says the largest number minus the middle plus the smallest is 30. The largest is x minus the middle, which is the y, plus the smallest, which is the z, and that comes out to be 30. And the largest is 4 times the smallest. The largest number is x is 4 times the smallest, which is z. So we have 3 equations. Number them. Now we're going to solve them. This equation got an x and a z but no y. But I notice when I look at these 2 equations, instantly I can add these because the y's will cancel. So let's write down x plus y plus z is 70. And x minus y plus z is 30. And if I add these 2 equations, so notice this is equation 1 and equation 2. I didn't do any with them because they're already opposites. So 2x plus 2z is equal to 100. And this is the new equation called 4. But you notice that x equals 4z. So that means this is the equation with x and z. So if I replace x with 4z, this equation will have all z's that I'm able to solve for. So I'm going to sub, I write it right here, I'm going to sub 4z, 4x into number 4. So x is 4z, so x becomes 4z. So that gives me 2 times 4z is 8z, or z or z, whatever you want to call it. 8 plus 2 is 10, 10z, divided by 10, and I get z is 10. They cancel. 100 divided by 10 is 10. Now I have what z is. I need to get what the other variables. So the easiest is the sub 10 for z. I have to put, notice this equation is x equals 4z. So I'm going to put z for 10 in here, and I'll get x into, I'm going to sub that into number 3. So I get x equals 4z, x equals 4 times 10. So x becomes 40. So I got z is 10 and x is 40. Now I need to get what y is. So I take the 2 variables and go back into one of these 2 equations. There's no good to put z and x into this one because they just give each other. So I got to go into one. So I'm going to sub 10 for z, 40 for x, and the best one to go into is number 1. So x plus y plus z, x plus y plus z is 70, and I gotta get z is 10, so there's 10, 4 for x, so we'll get that done. I'm solving, I have z and x in the equation, I'm solving for y. So y plus 14 equals 70, y equals 70, x is, oh, I almost made a mistake here, see that? I put in x is 40, I put in a 4 instead of a 40, so that gives me a 50. So 70 minus 50, y is 20. Again, I normally make a mistake, and hopefully I can find my mistake before the video is over. If I do make it, I'll go back and look to see where it is. So I looked and said, I happened to glance to see that that was a 40 and I had a 4 there. So 40 and 10 made 50. And y is 20. So the largest number is x, and x is 40. The middle number is y, and y is 20. And the smallest number is z, which is 10. It makes sense. Largest, middle, and smallest. And you add these up, you get 70. And the largest number, we check it, the largest number, 40, minus the middle number, which is 20, plus the smallest number is 10. That should give you 30. 20 plus 10 is 30. The largest number is 40, is 4 times the smallest. So 4 times the smallest is 10. 40 equals 40, so I have the answers right. Always good to check if you have time to check. And most people, if they finish the test, will check after they finished it. But if you try to check everything when you're working it, you might not get all your questions done. And one more question to do. A plastic bank contains 25 nickels, dimes, and quarters worth $4. There are twice as many quarters as nickels. Find the number of each. Well, first of all, we have nickels, dimes, and quarters, and we got $4. So what I like to do is change my $4 to 400 cents. Keep everything in cents. And also, when I do these, I like to work out on a grid. If I do a grid, I got less work to do. So 3 columns, and I got, let's see, 3 rows. So that's coin, which I got nickels, I got dimes, and I got quarters. And the number of nickels, dimes, and quarters, well, the number of nickels I'm going to call N, number of dimes I'm going to call D, number of quarters I'm going to call Q. And we have a value. So if we got N nickels, 5 times that is 5N. If we got D dimes, 10 times D gives me number of cents. We got Q quarters, 25 times Q gives me a value. So if I got 3 nickels, 5 times 3 is 15 cents, etc. So that's why you take the 5, the 10, and the 25, multiplying gives you the value. Now, what equations do we have? We have the equations. There's 25, so I have N plus D plus Q equals 25. That's equation 1, because they all add up. This is the number of nickels, dimes, and quarters. They all add up to give me 25. And they're worth $4 or 400 cents. So 5N plus 10D plus 25Q equals 400. That's equation 2. So this is the value of the money. So you add all this column up and you get 400. And there's twice as many quarters as nickels. Well, let me do a little bit of explanation on that here. Twice as many quarters as nickels. So Q equals 2N. Now some people get confused and they write down N equals 2Q. So if I get confused, what I do is I pretend, I say, if I have 3 nickels, which equation fits? So if I put 3 nickels and multiply by 2, I get 6 quarters. Oh, number of quarters is twice the number of nickels. And this is the equation that fits. If you did it this way, and you said you had 3 nickels, so you put 3 there for 3 nickels, then Q would be 3 divided by 2. So this would be wrong. So this is the right equation. So Q equals 2N is the third equation based on this statement. And that's 3 equations. Now we have to solve them. So I got one equation here, Q and 2N. So I'm going to take this equation and sub it in for Q into 2 of these equations, and then I'll have an equation with N and D, and I'll solve for N and D then. So I'm going to sub, sub 2N for Q into 1 and 2. So here I go. N plus D plus Q equals 25. So Q is 2N, so N plus D plus 2N equals 25. So 3N plus D equals 25. So that's a new equation for me. And now I have this equation, which is number 2, 5N plus 10D plus 25Q equals 400. So I'm putting in place of Q 2N. So 5N plus 10D, and Q is 2N. Sub that in. Done. Q is 2N. Now give me 5N plus 10D plus 50N equals 400. And we add the n's, so 55N plus 10D equals 400. So subbing the 2n for q in both these equations give you two new equations called 4 and 5. So I'm doing a substitution. Now I'm going to do, based on these two equations, 3n plus d equals 25, and 55n plus 10d equals 400. Now I'm going to do an elimination. So I'm going to multiply this one. 10 is a bit, that's a 1, I need a negative 10. So negative 10 times this equation, 1 times this one, gives me negative 30n minus 30d equals negative 250. And I got to multiply by 1 won't change it. 55n plus 10d equals 400. And when I draw the line, and I have, let's see that. Again, look at that mistake. Why did that happen? Because the little learning. I multiplied negative 10 by 3 and got negative 30, then I put the negative 30 there. So negative 10 times d is negative 10d. The d's cancel. I know I was canceling out the d's, but when I looked, I had a 30 here. But it cleared up the mistake. So 25n equals 150 divided by 25, and 25 cancel, and I get a 6 for n. Now I have n. If I look back at this equation, if I put 6 in here, I'll get the q. So I'm going to sub 6 for n into number 3. So that gives me q equals 2n. Q equals 2. N is 6. So q is equal to 12. So I got n is 6, q is 12, and now I need to go and get what d is. So to get d, let's go back to equation 1. So I'm going to sub, here, put it here, sub 6 for n, 12 for q into, so if I put into number 1, which is the easy one, n plus d plus q equals 25. So n is 6, I'm looking for d, q is 12, and that's d equal plus 18, 6 and 12 make 18. So let's go up here, d equals 25 minus 18, so d is 7. So we have them all, and we have nickels, so the number of nickels is 6. The number of dimes, which is d, number of dimes is 7, and the number of quarters is q, number of quarters is 12. If you check, this all adds up to 13 and 12 is 25, and twice the number of quarters and nickels, the number of quarters is twice the number of nickels. That's true. And it adds up to $4. So let's see. 6 nickels, 5 cents a nickel. We got 7 dimes at 10 cents each. And we got 12 quarters at 25 cents each. So that's 30 plus 70. 12 times 25 is 300. So that's 400 cents, which is $4. So it all checks out. So we get the 3 equations. You get 3 marks. And if you work it through and get the answers, each one, you get a mark each, so 6 in total. So that gives a total. So if you add up each of the pages at the bottom and take your number and put over 27, divide your 27 into your numerator with a calculator ahead or pencil, you get a decimal, move a decimal 2 places to the right, and you get your percent. Hopefully you did well on reviewing your videos 32 to 34, and that is, you know how to solve a 3-variable system, you know how to build the word problems, etc., and extra problems. 3-variable is awkward to do, but you just take your time. And if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. More videos are coming your way. Visit my website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.